looking at a colonial encampment such as would have been at Yorktown on the outskirts. These little tents would have held 6 to 8 soldiers depending on the shortage of tents, and they aren't much more than 6 by 8 feet. Company kitchen here. Would have been several of these rings out behind the tents. Each little hole you see represents a tent, and each ring would represent a group of 8 tents, so there are 8 holes. The way this thing works is really quite ingenious. The fire is put below ground level so that if the wind comes along, it jumps over the trench and doesn't stir up the fire. The wind also, from any direction, will hit this pile of fill dirt that came out of the trench, and it will act as a windbreak to further dampen the effects of wind. You can see the fire is directed upward because it's surrounded by 3 walls. And the word is that such a fire as this takes 10% of the fuel that a campfire would to do the same amount of cooking and heating. This is also a convenient place for the men to come and sit around in a circle. So each company would have a ring like this behind the tents for obvious reasons: straw, canvas, gunpowder. You don't want to mix the fire with all those. But these rings actually go back to the Roman army. Very long-lived, very ingenious. They found 2 of these excavated at Valley Forge, and one just across the river from Yorktown. Here we see a camp laundry on the left and a brush hut on the right. The women who followed the army, Washington had some rules for them. They had to be married to somebody in the outfit. He didn't want any single women along. That's pretty much it. The brush hut would be where the soldier would stay the first night or 2 of the march. They would set up encampment. Of course, the people carrying the tents would have been much further behind the army, so this is where the soldiers stayed first. As the rest of the equipment arrived a few days later, soldiers would put up the tents and wives would move into these brush huts. Not exactly a lovely place to live.